الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا وكثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم يغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us again to gather in this blessed day of Friday in Jummah prayer. And this is the deen that Allah chose, that given us, the Islam. And in this deen, Allah has chosen us for us that as a member of this ummah. And the greatest blessings of this ummah is that He sent Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as our prophet, as our Rasul, as our guide. But unfortunately, like the Sahaba, unfortunately, the Sahaba, anhum, they had Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam among them, so they could learn from him and they could defend him. They fight for him. They give their life away from him. But for us, we are not that lucky as Sahaba radiallahu anhum. We have our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the Quran. We have him in the books of Hadith, in the books of Sirah, and that's why we have it. In short, we have what we call Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that is the only thing we have from him now. All the instruction, all the statements, all his characteristics, everything in the Sunnah. But it is a matter of great sadness that nowadays, like Sahaba, they used to do one Sunnah. If they get one Sunnah, they used to give their life away for the Sunnah. They would never leave that thing if they find that this is the Sunnah from Rasulullah. But in our time, it is the opposite. If you ask some brothers to do something, the brother will ask you the first question, brother, is it a fard or Sunnah? If it is Sunnah, that's fine, we need to do this. So it's complete opposite. If the Sunnah, we leave it. So in this, and also the most majority of the Ummah doesn't have the knowledge of Sunnah. What is Sunnah? What is the value of the Sunnah? What is so important about the Sunnah? Why should we talk about the Sunnah? Why these scholars have spent hundreds of years writing all these hadith books? What is the benefit of this? It's just not like standing here and quoting a hadith and that's it. And most of us, as a general Muslim, we don't have this knowledge. So today in this short khutbah, we'll talk about the Sunnah. What is the definition of Sunnah? What is the status? How the Quran and Sunnah prove that it is so important in our life. And inshallah ta'ala, in the second part of the khutbah, we'll try to give something, present something to you that is beneficial for us and for yourself so that we can follow some Sunnah in our daily lives. Let's begin the meaning of Sunnah. What is the word Sunnah means? The meaning of Sunnah in Arabic language is very simple. It means a way, a path. That is the meaning, linguistic meaning. But according to the Sharia, the Sunnah has different meanings. And different department of the Sharia use the definition of Sunnah different way. I'll give an example, it will be clear for you. If I say you, when you enter to the mosque today, everybody pray 2 rakah of Sunnah, right? And after the prayer, inshallah ta'ala, you will pray 2 rakah or 4 rakah, depending on the things. This is a Sunnah. This is the Sunnah that is not fard, so opposite of the fard. This is the definition from the fiqh perspective. So the scholars of the fiqh, they say this kind of action is Sunnah. What is that action? If you do this action, you will be rewarded. It is preferable to do it. You are recommended to do it. If you don't do it, then you are not sinful. It is not as far. That is the description of the fiqh. But the scholar of the hadith, like Imam Bukhari, Imam Muslim, their definition is different. Their definition of Sunnah is everything Rasulullah said. Basically 4 things. All his statements, all his tacit approval, all his action, and his own characteristic. All these 4 things. So his statements, his action, his approval. So if somebody did something in front of him and he didn't say no to that thing, and also his own characteristic. How he used to dress up, how he used to look, how he used to take shower, how he used to do wudu. All these things together become the Sunnah, and everything in the Sunnah included. Among those actions, some actions are fard. Some are Sunnah, some are mustahab, some are haram. How do we define that one? See, Rasulullah used to pray 5 times, right? 5 times pray is Sunnah or fard? It's a fard. But that is the Sunnah of his life. His life, he used to come to Masjid, give Khutba on Friday. In the Jummah prayer, everybody gathered. That is also a fard. Same thing, he used to drink water. Most of the time he said, and he commented that, drink water while you're sitting. That is also a Sunnah, but that Sunnah is not like the Sunnah of 5 times praying. So that is the definition of Hadith scholar. That is the definition of Sunnah by the Hadith scholar. And another one is the Aqidah. So the people of the Aqidah, scholars of the Aqidah, they say, if someone asks you, brother, are you a Muslim? You say, I'm a Muslim. What kind of Muslim are you? If you're not Muslim, are you Sunni, Shia? Then you say, no, I am Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Ahl Sunnah means, this is another type of Sunnah, that this is the way the Rasulullah and his followers, they believe the main points of the Islam, the Aqidah of the Islam. They believe this is how we should believe in Allah, this is how our Iman should be. So that is why we call ourselves Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. So these are the 3 definitions in short about the Sunnah. Now what is the status of Sunnah in compared to Quran? Obviously the general point of view, obviously if you get a Quranic ayah and if you get a Sunnah, if you get a Hadith, which one is the more valuable? In general, obviously Quran is more valuable, but that doesn't mean we reject that Hadith. If there is a Hadith that you pray 5 times, or there's a Hadith of something, you don't eat pork. We don't eat pork. There is a lot of Hadith about this thing, and also Allah mentioned in the Quran. So we accept both of them. That is a general comparison of Hadith and Quran. But the majority of the opinion, the strongest opinion is that the value, the legal value, not the barakah value, not the blessings, the legal value of Hadith and Quran is almost equal. If Rasulullah says not to do that, and if Allah says not to do that, it is the both same. It is from the legal point of view. not from the baraka point of view. What I mean by baraka point of view is that, if you read Quran, alif, lam, mim, zalikal kitab, every letter you get a reward. But if you read a hadith like this, you don't get a reward like this. So that is the blessings of Quran. And obviously Quranic language is a different language, and hadith language is the regular language. Because in hadith, there is 2 person, 3 person, a group of people are talking. Someone asking something from Rasulullah, he's answering that one. So in that way, it is different. But from a legal point of view, it is the equal. And some of the scholars say, they didn't say it explicitly, the Sunnah actually has more beneficial point than Quran. Why do they say that? Because without the Sunnah, you cannot explain Quran. For a simple example, in Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that if you find a male or a female thief, cut their hand. Now, does it mean if you find any thief, you cut their hand? No. We find in the Sunnah that no, there are different conditions on that. And which hand to cut, left or right? Allah didn't say that. And if it is the right, if it is left, from here or from here. So for all these things, scholar has to go back to the Sunnah. In that point of view, to explain the Quran, we need Sunnah. We need the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is the status of the Sunnah. Now, a lot of people say, your book Quran, it's a complete book. It is a book from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's Kitabullah. So why do you need something else to do this? So this is a circular argument. You say, because Quran itself says, follow the Sunnah. You have to go back to the Sunnah. And now we will see how there are lots of proof that the scholar has described. The Sunnah is so important. It is a vital point of our Islamic life and of our whole life, basically. What is the first proof? The first proof is that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is the Prophet of Allah. And any Prophet of Allah, they are masoom. They cannot make any mistakes. In the mistakes, in the sense, in preaching the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, they can do minor mistakes, they can forget, but Allah make them to do that so that we can learn from them. Our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one day he prayed the Zuhr prayer. He prayed 2 rakah, he did salam, and he stand up. Everybody behind him did the same thing. And he started talking to the Sahaba after prayer. Then one of the Sahaba asked, Ya Rasulullah, is this a new rule? Is Allah revealed that Zuhr will be from 2 rakah instead of 4 rakah? Rasulullah said, did I pray 2 rakah? He said, yes. Then he asked a few other Sahaba, they said, yes, you pray 2 rakah. Then he stood up, he prayed 2 rakah and do Sajda Suhu. And this is how we know this is the Sajda Suhu. But in general, all the prophets, all the Rasuls, they are Masum, they cannot make any mistake, and they are sent to this world to be obeyed. And Allah said in the Quran, by the Surah An-Nazr, وَالنَّزْلِ إِذَا هَوَى مَا ضَلَّ صَاحِبُكُمْ وَمَا غَوَى وَمَا عَنْتِكُ عَنِ الْهَوَى. Meaning, he don't say anything from his desire. Whatever comes from the mouth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a wahi. Whether it's a hadith, it's a Quran, it's a wahi from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, everything he said is not from his desire. So this is point number 1, that prophets are to be followed like this. And another point is that Allah said in the Quran that I have sent the prophets and Rasul so that they can be obeyed. So we have to follow and we have to believe in the Prophet. And the next thing is that the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum, when they did something following Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah never sent any verse, any ayah to stop them. On the other hand, if any Sahaba or any Sahabi had made a mistake, Allah sent a verse to resolve them. In the battle of the Uhud, for example, the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam give them the instruction to keep in the mountain, but they didn't listen. As something happened, some situation happened, I don't want to go into the details, and they came down, and that is the main reason that there's so many Sahaba lost their life in the battle of Uhud. And Allah mentioned this in the Quran because he didn't listen to your Prophet. In summary, Allah said in the Quran, he didn't listen to the Prophet. So Allah rectified him. On the other hand, an example is that one day Rasulullah was praying, and while everybody was behind him, he took off his shoes and he put sometimes he used to pray with the shoes because it's in a desert time, and it's a hot field, and it is allowed to pray with the shoe as long as the shoe is clean. So he was praying on his shoes, and then he took off his shoes and put it on his side. All the Sahaba behind him, they saw Rasulullah doing this. They did the same thing. After the prayer is finished, Rasulullah said, why did you do the same thing? I heard noise, everybody is taking off their shoes. Why did you take the shoes off? Everybody, all Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, you did so we thought it's a part of the rule. So we did that. Then Rasulullah said, no, Jibril came to me and he told me that there is something, some najas in my shoe, that's why I took it off. But they followed Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but Allah didn't say this is wrong, this is fine. So that is also another proof that whatever Sahaba did, they follow the Sunnah, they give their life for the Sunnah, and that has to be done. That is how Islam is. And the third one is there is lots of Quranic verse. There's lots of ayah in the Quran, explicit ayah to follow Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and follow the Sunnah. And there are like more than 70 to 80 verses about that. We cannot go through each of them obviously, but there are some verses. The first one, like they categorize as like to believe in the Rasul. Like the famous verse of the Surah Al-Baqarah says, "Amana Rasulu bima unzila ilayhi min rabbihi wal mu'minun." Allah is saying you have to believe in the Rasul. What is the belief in the Rasul mean? If I just believe, okay, this person is Muhammad Rasulullah, I believe. That's it. No, that's not going to help you. You have to obey him, you have to follow him, whatever he is doing, you have to do it. Whatever he is saying not to do, you have to do it. So that is the belief in the Rasul Gabriel. Also in the Quran, Allah said that Allah has revealed Quran and Hikmah. In a lot of ayah, Allah said Al-Kitab al-Hikmah. And a lot of scholars say, what is this Hikmah? Hikmah in English language means wisdom. And this wisdom in Hikmah is something that is Sunnah. Without the Sunnah, there is nothing else. Because there is only two things revealed on Rasulullah, Quran and his own life. And that's how we learn Islam. So Allah said in the Quran that Hikmah is done for him. Other than that, a lot of other explicit, more than 20 verses where Allah said, Atiullah wa atiur Rasul. Atiullah wa atiur Rasul. Because Atiullah is follow Allah and obey Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And that is the rule has to be. In one place, in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah said, وَمَا يُطِيعُ الرَّسُولَ فَقَدْ فَعَلَ اللَّهُ. Means if you follow Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that means you are following Allah. And also the famous verse of Surah Al-Imran where Allah said, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحِبْبُكُمُ اللَّهُ وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ ذُنُوبَكُمْ. And this means that tell, Allah is telling Rasulullah, you tell the people, if you really love Allah, then follow me. And then Allah will love you and Allah will forgive you. So this is the status of the Sunnah in the Quranic verses. Now look at some hadith too. Rasulullah himself, and a lot of people doesn't know this one, in the lifetime of Rasulullah, he ordered the Sahaba to write down his hadith. Some of the hadiths written. And one of the Sahaba is the famous Sahaba Abu Huraira. He had a hadith in Bukhari. He said, I used to listen to hadith and I used to memorize the hadith. Because Rasulullah made a dua for him so he could memorize a lot of hadith. But there's another famous Sahaba, Abdullah ibn Amr ibn As, the son of Amr ibn As. He used to write down the hadith of Rasulullah. And one day, Rasulullah making a joke with the Sahaba, having some good time and smiling. And then Abdullah ibn Amr asked, Ya Rasulullah, you just made a joke and we had a fun. Should I still write this thing also? Or should I only write the statements and the serious matters? Rasulullah said, pointing his finger at Uktu. And when he said to point his finger that whatever comes from this tongue is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you should write. So Rasulullah is saying that everything is right. And to be honest, it is a side point. All the jokes that Rasulullah made, it is all, there is a lot of fig benefit in there and a lot of benefits in our life. The famous the joke that Rasulullah made with the old lady. She came to Rasulullah and she said, Ya Rasulullah, make dua for me so that I can go to Jannah. And Rasulullah said, old ladies cannot go to Jannah. And she started crying. She said, continuously, why, what, then I cannot go. Then Rasulullah smiled and said, when you go to the Jannah, you won't be like old. You'll be young and you'll be fresh. So you'll go like this. So this is a joke. But from this we know, we know that the information that, in Jannah, we won't go as old people. We'll go as young. There are a lot of hadiths, a lot of jokes like this that it has benefits from the Rasulullah. Also, Rasulullah said to the Sahaba, never ever lie and against my hadith and everything. And it is a very interesting thing to know that in Bukhari, in Muslim, in Abu Dawud, in Abu Nisai, all these things, all these hadiths, thousands of hadiths as you all know. Some of them sahih, some daif and all these things. But it is a miracle from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do you know there's only one hadith you will find in every book. Every book you collect, you will find this hadith. You take Bukhari, this hadith is there. You take Muslim, this hadith is there. You took any book from the era of the hadith scholars, this hadith is there. And you know what is this hadith? This hadith, Rasulullah said, Man kazaba alayya muta'ammidan fatawabbahu minan nar. Meaning, whoever invent a lies against me, he will have a seat in Jahannam. Whoever makes a lie against me, he will have a, meaning, if you say something like, why this hadith is everywhere, and this hadith has more than 70 narrations. It is the proof that, Allah is saying, Allah protected this hadith, so nobody can say this any fabrication of hadith. And if someone does it, they will be a member of the hellfire. And this is how Allah protected the Sunnah. In fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, La yukallifullahu nafsan illa usaha. Meaning, I am not going to give you something that is too difficult for you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never say, in the time of Ramadan, you should bring a pair of wings and fly in the sky. Allah knows this is not possible for us. So Allah is not going to give anything like this. So if Allah tells us to follow the sunnah, it is the job of Allah. It is the responsibility of Allah to save, to prevent the sunnah. And this is how the sunnah is protected. And this is how we should know. Other than this, hadith and Quranic proof, we also have the proof of the whole ummah, the scholar of the whole path. Even the Shia, even the group of the Shia who has some difference in Aqidah and everything, they also doesn't reject the Sunnah of Rasulullah. Yes, they have their own books, but it is the ijma of the whole Ummah from the beginning to the time to the thing. The Sunnah is very, very important, and we should all follow the Sunnah. And also from the logical point of view, if you just look as a non-Muslim, if some non-Muslim have a look at our religion and is try to find out what is the logical point of having the Sunnah, it can be easily found. As Allah said, that you have to pray. You have to pray, Aqimus Salat, Atuz Zakat. But Allah never said that you have to pray 5 times. And even if it's a 5 times, some of the ayah had indication of the 5 times. But even if it's a 5 times, Allah never said you have to pray 3 rakah in Maghrib, and after 3 rakah you have to pray 2 rakah Sunnah, and in the Sunnah you have to pray Kul Ayyuhal Kafirun. All these things Allah never said. So how are you going to perform our deen if there is no Sunnah? So this is the benefit of the Sunnah. So inshallah ta'ala, Allah give us tawfiq to understand the importance of Sunnah and bring the Sunnah in our life. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin, assalatu wassalamu ala rasulil kareem, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa nistan nabi sunnati ila yawmiddin. So in the first part, as I said, so we know the importance of the Sunnah from the Quranic and Hadith perspective. Now imagine Rasulullah said in an authentic Hadith, whoever learn one Hadith, memorize the Hadith, and pass the Hadith to another person, Allah will brighten his face in the day of judgment. Just learning one Hadith and memorizing one Hadith. And this is just learning and passing the Hadith, narrating the Hadith. Imagine how much reward you will get if you follow it, if you take the action, that Hadith in your action. And imagine a game show for yourself. Just like a game show in your day. So in a game show, you have been given that in a day, in one day, you have to say 10 things. But only thing you have to remember, when to say what. If you wake up, you should say this. If you go to the toilet, you should say this. And every time you say, you will be given $1,000. If that is the game, and if you take part of the game, everybody in the world will, successful in that game will be rich people, right? Imagine Allah has made the deen so easy. Rasulullah made the deen so easy for us. He has dua for everything. Every action has something. Even when you put the shoe, if you put the right feet in, you get a swab. As long as your intention is that I'm doing it because I'm following the sunnah of Rasulullah. And imagine the reward. I say $1,000. By doing one action of this, probably you will be saved yourself and your family and maybe your whole generation from the hellfire. You never know. The ajr of Allah is endless. And with these thoughts, the brothers of Quaker Mosque, we did a small chart kind of thing. This is actually outside, and there are some only 3, 4, or maybe 10, 12 sunnah that you can follow in the day. Because there are sunnah specific, like for Friday, there are some Friday specific sunnah to recite the Suratul Kahf, to cut your nails, to take shower. This is only you can done on Friday. There are other sunnah in the time of Ramadan. There are other sunnah in the time of Hajj. But there are few sunnah, the simple sunnah, giving a salam to anybody, to smile to anybody. When you wake up in the morning, there is a dua. Alhamdulillahi alladhi ahyana wa ba'da ma amatana wa ilayhi nushur. Even if you don't know the dua in Arabic, even if you don't know, just when you wake up, say, oh Allah, thank you for waking me up. And give me the reward from the sunnah. You will get the reward. So we have gathered some hadith in this paper, and this paper is outside on the table. There's probably 50 or 100 copies there. Take one copy, and also there is a 7-day list here. Just take it for your own self. You don't have to do anything. It is free. You take it to your home, and if you do one thing, just stick that today I did this sunnah. Today, it's a self-development program, and this is what Allah wants from us. That we are trying for the deen, we are trying to learn the deen, trying to put the deen in our life. We're just not praying 5 times, going home, and going to our office, and that's it. Just like a robot. No. We have to bring our Islam in our life. And this is, we find that this is only the smallest way, the smallest effort to bring your life. Inshallah, next Friday also, we'll keep this, the paper available. Whoever wants to take it, give it to your family, to your kids also. And the sunnahs here, the du'as are in Arabic and in English language is here, so you can also memorize this. May Allah give us tawfiq to implement the sunnah in our life. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. أقيموا الصلاة.